Hello, everybody, and welcome back to AnxietyPilled. On today's April Fool's Day episode, I am so happy to be back with our friend Salad.
Hi. It's great to be back. Been out for a while.
Yeah, we have a part of our subreddit that we think deserves to be heralded on this very special day of April Fool's Day. Comedy horror or meme. So, horror and comedy are often very close together. And so today, as your lovely friends from AnxietyPilled, we would like to celebrate that with stories from our good old friend Kaiju Fan 22, Graham Cracker 17, a newcomer VHS underscore sold underscore blank, and Kyrie Files. So, from Kaiju, the message that he'd like to say before we get started is, this story was a goof, but it seemed to resonate with people. And I like that. So even goofy things have value. So never stop being goofy. Thank you, Kaiju. This story is called I Got Promoted at McDonald's and I Couldn't Be Happier. Capital D. Smiley face. Alright, are we ready, Salad?
Yes, I am ready.
Alright. When I was a kid, I always looked forward to Ma's payday. She'd take us all down to the Golden Arches to celebrate that measly paycheck. They still had charm back then, looking like colorful barns with sloped red roofs. That sign, that beautiful sign, it had such aura to it, that neon-tinted beauty that stood tall and proud. A hollow plastic statue of the clown himself greeted us at the door, those dead yet playful eyes beckoning us inside. I'd order the same thing every time. A double cheeseburger meal and a chocolate milkshake. We were there so often, the waitress with flaming red hair and freckles knew us all by name. We'd order and sit in the same corner booth as she brought us our trays. Dad would make a crass joke at her expense. She'd blush and laugh as my ma stared daggers at him. Then we'd dig into the meat like hungry piglets. Every week was the same, but it would still taste divine. Such a potent mix of salt and crispness for the fries, the beef thin yet firm, the juices within held so tightly. The onions melted under my tongue, and cheese signed the roof of my mouth with decadent goodness. I savored every morsel, swallowing the parade of flavors with vigorous fever. Then, I'd wipe my mouth with a grease-stained napkin and gulp down a chunky shake that barely tasted like milk, like alone chocolate. I loved those Friday night dinners. It was the only time we could all come together. It was the only time I would call us a family. So as we have this initial thing here, what are our first thoughts?
Okay. I'm already don't get me wrong, I love McDonald's, but I'm already getting sick like sick of the thought of how he's describing McDonald's, and it makes me not want to eat McDonald's again. And we haven't even really gotten into the story yet. The beef thin yet firm, the juices within held so tightly is a disgusting way to say just a beef patty. And so far I love the descriptions,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to see what's entailed.
For me, I'd honestly say the opposite. Like, I read that and I'm like, ooh, I kind of want McDonald's after this.
You gonna eat it like the McDonald's CEO, just small bite?
Yeah. No, I'm probably not getting McDonald's. But I also love, like, this was probably unintentional, but flaming red hair and freckles, almost reminds me of the mascot for Wendy's.
Oh, Wendy.
Yeah, but it also could be a reference to the fact that the clown has red hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, the chunky shake, yeah. I love how he describes the fakeness of McDonald's with such glee. And like already this is proof that just because it's comedy, just because it's just a meme, doesn't mean it can't still be well written.
Right. Yeah. I don't. I don't really like my milkshakes being described as chunky unless they
Yeah.
have like hairy chunks in them.
Yeah, unless
But
it's like berry or like chocolate chunks in them.
yeah, I don't know about chunky, especially when it comes from McDonald's. I mean, I will say most of the time when I get a milkshake from McDonald's, it's like kind of gritty, if that makes sense,
A
because
little
of
bit,
the
yeah.
ice. But when it's say chunky, that kind of throws me off.
All right. So back into the story. I really love, but first before we do that, I love how Kaiju has these little like breaks in the page. It gives us
Hmm.
natural points to go, okay, let's debrief. What do we think?
It's very well put together.
All
It
right.
is very together.
So, in high school, I barely scraped by with high D's and low C's. College wasn't even a pipe dream. I was fine with that, honestly. There's only one career I saw myself falling in love with anyway. The interview went smooth. The manager wore a stuffy navy blue and had welts on his face, his brow covered in sweat. The heat back there was sweltering, honestly, though I wasn't surprised. He showed me around the kitchen and told me I would start off with working the fry station. I was in awe watching the skinny kid there now. He submerged whole barrels in the grease trap. The heat coming off it was magnificent. The smell danced around my nostrils like an old forgotten friend. Training was a bore. Long
Uh,
video essays. Oh, sorry, you had something to say?
no, no. I think that might have just been my audio messing up real quick.
Okay. Training was a bore. Long video essays about safety and proper hygiene etiquette. Each video ended with the clown hopping on screen, a painted crimson smile plastered on his chalk white face.
And remember, folks, you can't spell teamwork without you and me.
He would end each video with that cheesy line that made little sense the more you thought about it. You could tell by the faded color grading and the skipping just how ancient those tapes were, honestly. My first day on the job went well. The manager watched me work and bestowed heaps of praise on me, saying I was a natural with the deep fryer. The day flew by, honestly. I just loved hearing that sizzle as whipped up batch after batch. It was like an orgasmic earworm, that sizzle, hitting that sweet endorphin money shot. Oh, okay. Kaiju. Hate that.
that was.
Oh,
Uh,
that's the horror.
oh yeah, that is I, I I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, just that's gross.
Yeah.
Eventually, they moved me to mopping, working the register occasionally, and manning the drive-thru. But I really took to the deep fryer. I can't really explain it. Something about the sound was soothing to me, made the long days just melt into nothing. My coworkers were friendly on the surface, but I knew how envious they were at how well I took to the fryer. I would spend hours making the grease snap and crackle, watching tiny bubbles of steam form and crack into a satisfying pop. A lot of them would come and go, high turnover in our industry. Many dumb kids with a chip on the shoulder, thinking they were too good to shove burgers into a bag. I did recognize one worker. She was older now, slight wrinkles on her rosy cheeks. Her long hair wasn't as vibrant as it once was, silvers of gray streaking into her dull flames. She recognized me on the first day, asking how the family was, how my dad was. I told her she'd know better than me, and her plump face burned with regret. She stayed clear ever since, but I see her catching glimpses at me. She whispers to the other on the line that I'm a bit slow, but that it makes sense that they put a dullard on the air fryer. Like I said, they're all just jealous. And now we have another break in the page.
Okay, before we move on, I haven't read this. Have you read this?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was gonna see if we want to do predictions of what was gonna happen. Um,
But let's hear yours.
with this line, she recognized me on the first day, asking how my family was, how my dad was. It makes me think that his family worked at McDonald's too, and something happened to them. It's kind of like a. Have you ever seen the sequels to Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Um, God, there's so many.
There are. But in like 2 and 3, they make uh the family to be more out like I want to say like restaurant owners. Not really, because they don't own a restaurant. But I believe it's 3. The dad is in like a world renowned cooking, like chili cooking contest, and his line is that quality meat, and obviously it's referring to humans, and that's what I'm thinking is going on here. Kind of
Yeah.
what it reminds me of. But I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what I like to think going forward.
Yeah, I kind of forget what happens at the end, but going off of what used to happen, so how the family was, how my dad was, um, that's just a conversation you have with your favorite waitress. Like, when I was a kid, like, we wouldn't go out every weekend, but like every once in a
Hmm.
while, we'd go to our same spot, and oftentimes we'd end up with our same waitress, who would love us. Like no matter where we lived at the time, we always had a favorite waitress, and so like with some of them, I believe like if like especially if he stays at that same McDonald's, which from the sounds of it he is, she'd be like an old family friend by that point. Like, oh my god, our favorite waitress, hi.
Here, if you can hear it, this is gonna sound weird. If you can hear something that sounds like peeing, it's not peeing. It's my AC like dripping liquid into a bucket that
I see.
leads outside. But it just sounds like I'm peeing over you talking.
Yeah.
But I promise I am not.
Yeah, sure. You're not peeing throughout the episode. This just in: Salad Man pees throughout the entirety of every single episode he's on.
Every episode, no matter how long it is, I just have it all in my tank ready to go.
Yeah, that's why we had to let you take a break for a few episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was just so hard for you to edit it out. The
Yeah,
the,
exactly.
the first episode.
All right, are we ready to get back into it?
I'm good to go.
All right. Today was a good day. Perhaps the best day of my life. It started like any other, me sitting in my beat up sedan staring up at the golden arches. The golden hue had dulled with age, but that gorgeous sign still stood tall. The building was a tragedy, though. Long since reworked into that concrete slab they all seemed to transform into over time. They even removed the statuette at the door. A crime, if you were to ask me. Okay, I know we just got back into it, but me and the narrator, twins. I was so mad when they made McDonald's less whimsical.
Right? I only have like select few memories as a kid of Ronald being on a bench in there, but I will say, with as many health concerns as there were with the play area, it was a crime to get rid of it.
Yeah. All right. I clocked in around 8:30 a.m. and took my place at my station. As I worked, I heard pointed whispers and snickering glances pointed my way, though I wasn't sure why. Suddenly, I heard a booming, exasperated voice call out to me. I turned to see the sweaty, plump visage of my manager. He had a stern look on his face and called me over with a pointed finger. I sighed and scurried over to his office, the door gently shutting behind me. He plopped down in his chair, the faded leather squeaking out in protest against his massive frame. He grunted and wheezed as he fumbled around his desk for a piece of paper. His eyes lit up with stress when he found it. He slid it to me, and I picked it up. The first thing I noticed was how slick and translucent it was. The sheet seemed to be coated in a fine layer of grease. The ink was smudged and barely legible. I furrowed my brow, not sure what to make of it.
The people out there think I'm bringing you in to begin the termination process.
He cleared his throat and waved a beefy paw at the door. He spoke in a husky voice, the second chin wobbling as he did.
Rumors and hearsay, Martin, don't worry.
My heart still skipped a beat anyway. My pulse stiffened just at the mere mention of
termination. What's going on, Mr. Larson?
I asked, my timid voice booming in the cramped office. He smirked at me and pointed at the paper that was carefully held in my grip.
You're getting a promotion, Tyler. Assistant manager.
He boomed. My eyes grew large, and I couldn't help but burst into a huge grin. Then a thought streaked across my mind.
But wait, isn't Mandy?
I started.
Mandy is being let go. Corporate is coming by to see it themselves.
He said, a grim tone hanging in the air.
Actually, the whole branch is being laid off. Except for you and me. We're wiping the slate clean.
I glanced down at the clammy wad of paper. I squinted and could make out certain phrases like
NDA.
And
threat of consumption.
I looked up at Larson and saw a twinge of fear on him.
This is all I ever wanted, sir. My whole life.
I replied.
I'll gladly accept.
Larson simply nodded and checked the time on his phone.
They'll be here soon. When they come, all entrances will be sealed. The promotion is as good as yours, Martin. I want you to know that.
He reiterated.
But, well, whatever happens, I want you to stay calm and go about your duties. Corporate will try and rattle you a little bit. Just stay strong and keep frying. Don't look them in the eye.
He warned. With that, he shook my hand and sent me on my way. I couldn't hide the shit-eating grin smeared on my face as I left the office. Out of the corner of my eyes, I saw Mindy huffing and puffing as she shoved a bag in a customer's arms. I took Larson's advice to heart. For the next hour or so, I kept my head down and focused on the fryer. I didn't mind. I was excited at all the new stuff I'd get to do once I had Mindy's spot. Larson stood in the middle of the kitchen, watching people shuffle around and mingle. Orders were slow that day to begin with, so when the front doorbells rang, they rang loud. Larson looked up, and his sweaty face became ghostly pale. He rushed forward and clapped his hands, rushing to meet whoever was at the door. I heard a couple of the front cashiers snicker to themselves, mumbling in asinine disbelief. I just focused on the fries, getting batch after batch ready to go in their cardboard containers. My hands were stained with salty calluses, and the stench of potato fat clung to my apron. God, I loved it. Behind me, Mindy turned a corner and gasped, carefully dropping a bag of buns to the floor. Her chubby cheeks quivered, her face draining as she saw who was at the door.
No, no, no. Oh, Jesus, no.
She mumbled to herself as she turned tail and hoofed it towards the back door. She shoulder-checked a dull-eyed fry cook who swore I'd heard Spanish. She barreled past him. The back exit was chained. I could hear futile rattling as she huffed and gasped. She's practically clawing at the door, drawing murmurs from half-interested workers. I was still heavily invested in meeting today's fry quota, and I didn't want to look like I was slacking in front of corporate. So I just stood there and hummed a little tune as I worked. From the front, I heard hushed yet stern voices, followed by rapid, thudding footsteps. Larson was grunting his way to the back, looking more moisture-coated than usual. I heard him sneer as he pulled the begging Mindy away from the back door. She was in hysterics now. She said she'd do better. She promised. Larson was silent, just dragging her by the arm. It was then I stole a glance at corporate. There were 4 of them, and they looked exactly like I had always envisioned. One of them was a large, purple tumor with legs. Its skin was coarse and filled with open cysts. From the kitchen, I could hear the egg-shaped behemoth wheezing, eyes pale and beady, crust formed around the edges of unblinking pupils. Its belly was massive, a keg of lavender flesh. It rested its grubby paws on his stomach and waited. Another wore a wine-red suit with a wacky tie, white gloves with faint stains and pointed dress shoes. Its head was also in the form of a mouth-watering hamburger. He smelled like a heavenly mix of prime beef and fried pork. His bun looked stale, however. The meat dry and spots of moldy hair had sprouted in sporadic patches. The plastic-looking cheddar that made up his mouth was curved in a sneer. The most normal-looking of the bunch was a man in striped PJs and a black Havana hat. He wore a grimy-looking bandit mask, and his face was covered in pockmarks and grease. Splotches of what I assumed to be ketchup and mustard coated his getup. He also wore a mini apron like a cape. Finally, there was him, the man himself. He stood center among the pack, a slick yellow suit with his iconic red stripes adorning the arms. His face looked like it was chiseled out of pure marble, save for the spherical red nose he had. His hair was a perfect perm that wept with crimson, each strand perfectly sculpted into a fine curl. It looked like he had stepped right off the pedestal of the gods. I felt my face flush as I refocused myself on my work. Behind, Mindy was still crying, and the other drones were starting to ask questions. Larson raised a hand, and Corporate waltzed over to the main counter.
Can I have everyone's attention, please?
Larson began. A small crowd gathered round him, save me and a couple of the cashiers who were gawking at Corporate. Mindy was pulling on him, still begging to be let go. To no avail. Larson's grip was ironclad.
Today, we are joined by some very special guests. They are here to oversee our annual performance reviews. No, Christ, no!
Mindy rudely interjected. The mild crowd gasped, but Larson pulled her in close and whispered something in her ear. She stood there trembling, tears streaking down her face. Larson cleared his throat.
Now then, Mindy will be going first. Mr. Ron's group will look over and inspect your workstations. Please do not resist.
A barrage of questions came, but Larson ignored them and dragged Mindy into his office. It was then I noticed the clown had broken away from the front and was waiting in there with a wide smile. The door slammed shut and the crowd exploded with confusion. Hang on one second. I am loving like how grotesque but like excited these descriptions are.
Me too.
Like
I will say real quick before we continue to talk about the story. Ever since I brought up the Leatherface reference, all I can see as Larson now is just Leatherface and nobody's addressing it. I imagine he just has the chainsaw strapped to his belt and he's got the mask on because they described him as pudgy, and that's all I can see now, but nobody addresses it. They just think it's normal.
Yeah, and so I'd also like to mention, so like the smell of a McDonald's worker. My brother worked at McDonald's, and this kid, whenever he came back, like the fry grease mixed in with the scent of a human, it's always ugh. It's really not, doesn't smell as good as like the McDonald's restaurant, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go back in. So the door slammed shut, and the crowd exploded with confusion.
Should have called out today. Doors are locked. Is this some kind of prank? Bro, look at what these clowns are wearing. It's so dumb.
Ron's pals slowly entered the kitchen, their eyes never leaving the chattering crowd. I felt something start to sing, so I wiped my brow and focused on the task at hand. The heat was unbearable. My palms were dripping into the grease trap, but I held firm. I refused to look like a poor worker in front of my idols. Not like these other drones standing around panicking. I could hear them behind me begin to shout at corporate officials. I guess one of them had grabbed one of the cashiers. I shut out the roar of horror and disappeared from behind me, focusing only on that lovely sizzle. I shook the batch. The fries were a beautiful golden hue, and I dumped them and got started on the next. In between batches, I could hear the sounds of a busy kitchen. Screams and pleas for mercy went unheard by corporate. I heard thick, meaty squelches and people slipping on the slick floor as they ran. Someone knocked over a pallet of trays, and I nearly dropped a batch of fries. I was so startled, but I held strong. The offending party's cries were soon drowned out by a gluttonous moan and quick snapping sounds. I paid no mind to the feasting behind me. It was above my pay grade. Corporate worked fast in their cuts, I have to say. Within 10 minutes, the restaurant was silent, save for the sounds of slurping and crunching, and a whimpering holdout that was swiftly snuffed out. I couldn't hear what was happening in the office, just muffled cries and shrill laughter. I sound like a broken record, I know, but I just kept frying. The fry-later was my greasy muse, and I just couldn't tear away from her. There was some thumping from the office, like meat being pounded, and corporate carefully checked every corner of the kitchen for unkempt stations or survivors. The purple tumor stood next to me for a good while. I could sense its dead googly eyes on me, feel its steamy breath on my neck. It was wheezing and labored, the scent of rot and salt emitting from him. Ugh. It seemed to be studying my frying technique. Unsurprising, of course, I was the best at it. Soon, another set of eyes was on me. A gloved hand clamped me on the shoulder. Out of the corner of my eyes, I saw the hooked nose of the bandit. His mouth was caked in viscera, and he was drooling looking at the fries.
Yeah, you're really good at that.
I hate that! You did perfect on that vocal line, and I hate it. He mumbled as he stepped away.
Good job.
The purple people eater next to me choked out as it too waddled away. My face flushed with pride, that kind of cocky feeling you get when you're on top of the world and nothing can bring you down. Behind me, the office door croaked, an aroma of death coming off it. The clown came out first, his iconic yellow blazer no longer clean and pristine. His makeup was smirched, and he seemed satisfied. Larson soon tiptoed out of the room. Sick clung to his shirt, and he looked ghastly pale. Mindy was nowhere to be seen. The clown's crew stepped towards him, speaking in hushed voices. They pointed at me, nodding their heads in agreement. Agreement with what? I wasn't sure. And the clown stepped forward, a wide smile on his face. I averted my gaze and looked down. I heard him clump over, each step a thunderous sound over the field of slick sanguine the floor had become. I tried to focus on my sizzle, that soothing crispness that made it all worthwhile. I swear, Kaiju's writing in this story is poetic, literally.
Kaiju wrote the email one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No hate to the email one, but this is leagues better. I can tell he put everything into it, and it is so good.
Yeah, man. Like, there's literal poetry in this. Like, there's alliteration. Do you remember what that one device is called, where it's not alliteration, but the consonants in the word are the same letter?
Oh, shit. No.
Hang on, let me look that up.
I can envision the word. I just can't think of it, if that makes sense.
But yeah, he uses alliteration, onomatopoeia. Hold up. Consonants is repeating consonant sounds in the beginning, middle, or end of words. So yes, consonants, alliteration, just like, as somebody who is going to be teaching English, or who is teaching English, this is literal poetry. And I can't believe I'm
It's
saying that about a story about someone getting promoted at McDonald's.
I can. What are you talking about?
You know
The
what? Yeah,
story's
that's fair.
peak.
So then he spoke, right in my ear.
Nice to meet you, Martin.
His voice was silky, yet full of grit. I didn't look up as I stuttered a reply.
Thank you, sir.
There was a tension then, the only sound the fryer later sizzling away.
You're gonna be second in command around here, but in charge of whipping up the new crop. What do you think of that?
The clown whispered to me.
It's an honor, sir. I won't let you down.
I proclaimed. The clown nodded.
You do anything for this company? Anything I ask of you? You do it with no questions asked?
He mused.
Yes, sir.
I said with zero hesitation. The clown nodded once more.
Good, good.
He mumbled, still leering over me. The soothing sound of the fryer did little to ease the suffocating tension at that point. And here's where, like, listen, I might edit this out, but, like, sure, the tension is, like, there's fear and stuff, but, like, with how much he loves Ronald McDonald, he might want to fuck the clown. You know what they say about men with big feet. Yeah, men with big feet and guys with big trucks, and clown cars, absolute opposite of big trucks. So that means this clown is hung, and I think Martin's down to clown.
Down to clown.
Yeah, that might be edited out. I don't know.
There won't be any clowning around with that one, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, the soothing sound of the fryer did little to ease the tension at that point.
Put your hand in the oil.
He calmly spoke. I froze and snapped my head towards him, unsure if he was serious. Too late did I remember Larson's warning of not looking him in the eyes. That split-second fuck-up will haunt me forever. And then and there, I committed myself fully. I quickly plunged my right hand into the bubbling grease. The pain is blinding at first as the heated grease cleaves through me. Then there is numbness. Nerves melt and are replaced with the throbbing, blistering nothing. I know what he wants, so I watch it all happen. I watch my skin slop off my hand like sheets. What little remains becomes necrotic charcoal. It crackles and pops in the grease, that siren's call of a sound now seeming to mock me. I let my hand fry until he was satisfied. He didn't say anything. Just a limp pat on the back as I heard him walk away, the squeak of his clown shoes taunting me as he went to converse with Larson. My whole arm trembled as I winced and pulled it out of the grease trap. I stepped it back from the fire, my breath shaking as I still felt that burning sensation renewed itself out of the grease trap. It smelled like burnt, salted pork, what was left of my hand. The tips of my fingers were fried and blistered. They looked like shredded needles. I could see throbbing muscle in the palm, burned beyond repair. I stood there, unsure of what to do next, awaiting the next command from corporate. Larson soon rushed over and wrapped the wound in a cold towel. I felt nothing as he did. He whispered to me, saying I did such a great job today. He also said how sorry he was in a hushed voice only he and I could hear. And we have a break in the page. Goddamn. Goddamn. That's all I gotta say.
It's a lot to take in. Kaiju's done such a good job with this story.
Yeah, absolutely. Jesus Christ. And, like, just how visceral these descriptions are. Man. Like, Jesus fuck.
I mean, I watched the skin slop off my hand like sheets. It's a beautiful way to visualize that, but at the same time, it is so foul.
Yeah, it is foul and disgusting. disgusting. Like, great job. Yeah, I'm glad McDonald's isn't known for doing sponsorships. So if we ever get into the realm of sponsorships, we're not burning bridges
We would
here.
never get a McDonald's one.
All right,
Oh,
are we ready to do that last little bit?
I'm ready.
From that day forward, I was Larson's right hand man. My hand never fully recovered. The nerve damage too much severe. It clung to my side like a curled up claw. The new hires did their best not to take notice, but I didn't blame them for whispering about it when they thought I wasn't looking. The new crop was quickly whipped into shape. I tolerated no tomfoolery in my kitchen. I had earned that right. Corporate hasn't been back since the day of my promotion, though as he left, the clown left me with some parting words.
Keep up the good work, and you'll be running the show by year's end.
It's nearing that time now, and Larson seems nervous by how good I'm doing. I suspect he knows his time is near. My ascension is soon at hand. He's come to me in my restless dreams and spoke of riches and wonder beyond what the golden arches could offer. I envy Larson. Soon he'll know the blessing of corporate's retirement package. I envy him, but in my heart, I know one day I'll be replaced, same as him. I look forward to that day, I truly do. I love working at McDonald's. It's given me everything I've ever wanted. All I had to do was sell my blood, sweat, and soul. Every time I hear that friar ding, I know it was worth it. And that is the end of I got promoted at McDonald's and I couldn't be happier, smiley face.
What a great story. I want to talk about the main character a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you see the main character almost, if not, like almost as evil, or if not worse than corporate itself?
Honestly, I hate to say it, I think he just might be a little stupid.
You think?
Yeah, I think he just loves it. Like, he loves it. He doesn't really... Like, I feel like he's fully brainwashed without corporate having to do much.
I could see that.
What do you think?
I don't think he's stupid by means. I think he's so infatuated with the idea of McDonald's, he'd let anything happen, and with no problem with it. Like, you saw that he had no issue with the rest of his coworkers getting slaughtered.
Yeah.
And he's overjoyous with the idea of his boss being gone someday so that he could be boss.
Yeah. But then he also says, let me scroll back down. I know one day I'll replace same as him. I look forward to that day. He wants to be eaten by the clown. Like, he sees it truly as like an honor.
Yeah. I don't know if that's... Yeah, I still think it's some sort of morbid infatuation.
Yeah.
I think in his mind, him someday getting eaten by the clown means he's fully part of McDonald's forever.
Oh, true. That, because I was like, okay, clearly he's like okay with being eaten, but why?
Yeah, I like to think that it's in his mind, it's him being fully part of McDonald's forever, and he will have everything he ever wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a fucked up story. I loved it.
It was fantastic, especially for one labeled as horror comedy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so next one that we have. Actually, hang on one second. Give me a second to I'll be back. I gotta refill my water bottle.
Okay.
And then I'll be back, and then we can introduce the next guy.
La boo boo. La boo boo. La boo boo. La la boo boo.
Okay.
You're gonna find some surprises when you're editing the recording.
Oh God, what did you do?
Nothing.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a lot less editing this episode, so that people can hear a lot of the goofy shit.
You'll probably end up keeping that in too.
Yeah.
It's just silence, and then it's just me whispering into the mic, and then it's silence again.
Okay. All right.
What's the next story on our docket?
So the next story, it is by Graham Cracker 17, a dear friend of the subreddit. And before we say this one, I would like to show a disclaimer. Taco Bell, please. I love your stuff. You're one of my favorites. This story does not represent the opinions of the podcast. We just like the story.
I love Taco Bell. Please don't ruin it for me. Is this episode just making it out to where we hate fast food restaurants?
No, just the first two. Because the last
Okay,
one,
okay.
if we
So
ever get
KFC isn't next.
monetized, the last one we'd have to deeply hide it. But yeah, from the author Graham Cracker 17, he says, "I'm coming for Stephen King's title of Master of Horror. The future is now, old man." Okay. I am very excited because I think I giggled at this one.
This is the don't go to Taco Bell after midnight, right?
Yeah. Are you ready?
I am ready.
This is a warning to anyone who might feel the urge to visit the Mexican establishment known as Taco Bell in the dead of night. Be careful of when you go. You must be sure you go before midnight, or the consequences may be dire. I should know. I am paying the price for my sin of gluttony. I was craving some tacos after a long shift at work. I wanted nothing more than 5 tacos, a quesarito, and some Mountain Dew Baja Blast. First of all, fuck yeah. Hang on one second.
I'm more of a 5-layer beefy man myself, but the quesarilla is really good.
Hang on, I am resetting my setup. But yeah, so what's your usual Taco Bell order?
I usually get 5-layer beefy burrito. If they have nacho fries, I get the nacho fries. Baja Blast, obviously that's a must. Although I will say I was getting the vanilla. What did they call them there? Freeze. I was getting the vanilla freeze for a bit.
Ooh, fun.
That one was pretty damn good. But 5-layer beefy burrito. That sometimes I usually get 3 things, and I always get the 5-layer beefy burrito. That's my number one go-to. I usually experiment with everything else after.
For me, I always get the value box. I get the beef. No, I think it's the bean and rice burrito. Bean and rice cheesy burrito. Soft shell taco. I think chalupa it's called. And nacho fries and Baja Blast. It's always that. Yeah, sorry.
Those are good combos.
The Mountain Dew Baja Blast just got me excited because I love that. I love that pop.
You might get Taco Bell after this.
Yeah, taco. That might be more likely than McDonald's. All right. I pulled up to the drive-thru speaker at 12:01 a.m. Normally, a bored-sounding teenager would take my order, but the voice that greeted me was gruff. He took my order and told me to pull up to the next window, and I did. When I got to the window there was a tall, emaciated demon with red-brown skin, goat horns, the mouth of a crocodile, and a pig snout.
Oh my god! It's the devil!
The creature snorted with laughter.
No, I am just a lesser demon.
I was relieved that it wasn't the fallen angel Lucifer himself.
Wait. If you are a demon, then why would you be working at Taco Bell?
The infernal began to laugh maniacally.
Because minimum wage fast food jobs are hell.
I couldn't argue with that, so I handed over my credit card, and the demon ran it through the reader. He handed it back to me, and then handed over my drink and my bag of sustenance. He told me to have a good night, and I drove around and parked in the parking lot. I ate my meal while watching Family Guy Funny Moment compilations on my phone. Stopping for a moment here, how much do you want to bet this man's high?
High as hell.
Yeah.
Do you even think there's demons? Or do you think he's just high as balls?
You know, I think the demons are real. But I think he's doing some illegal driving here. Because I want I'm really craving Taco Bell. Is like somewhat okay with the demon being there. And like watching Family Guy, like when I'm drunk or high, it's Family Guy or American Dad.
Mm-hmm. When I'm drunk or high, I just watch not Shout Out because we don't have a collab with them, but Dead Meat.
Yes, I love Dead Meat.
I watch the kill counts, and lately at work I've been listening to the podcast.
Yeah, they're good. So shout out to them. But that's just as a fan.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I ate my meal while watching Family Guy Funny Moment compilations on my phone. After I finished my meal, I was about to shift my car into drive when a rumble emanated from my gut. My stomach was churning like a sea in a storm. I needed to go to the bathroom. I turned off my car and I speed walked inside while doing my best to clench the entire time. I rushed inside the bathroom and into a stall. I closed the stall door behind me and locked it. I barely got my pants down and sat on the porcelain seat before a flood of excrement came out of my rear end. My stomach felt like it was being torn apart. I heard the door to the restroom open. A deep laugh echoed through the bathroom. I tried to stay silent, but my bowels betrayed me. The latch from my stall... I am a child that can be made to giggle my fart jokes. The latch from my stall started to move by itself. The cloven hooves of the demon moved to just outside of the stall. I was sweating and feeling faint at this point as the deluge was still going. The door swung open on its own, revealing the fiend towering over me.
What do you want?
I squeaked out. My eyes felt heavy at this point.
I want your soul, and I need you to shit it out so I can form a portal to hell. Why me?
I said weakly. The demon grinned and responded.
because you came after midnight.
At that moment, I felt my soul leave through my rectum as everything went blurry and I fell to the ground. The last thing I saw was the demon smiling over my body as a portal opened up to hell. Now I am a ghost and you must heed my warning. Don't go to Taco Bell after midnight, or a demon might make you shit out your soul to open a portal to hell. That's the end. That is short and sweet. Short, sweet, and stinky.
I love Graham.
Yeah, this
He's the
is
best.
like such a different writing style, but like he's here for horror comedy. He's here to give it and then get out. I love it.
He definitely is winning after that one.
Yeah,
That is
I love it. But now,
so good.
so most of these authors, actually, do we want to say a few more words about this? Or do we think the giggles have done it justice?
The giggles did do it justice. It is a perfect story for April Fools. I'm looking at some more of Graham's works. Now, I've read most of these. Like, there's a poop goblin in my toilet that keeps stealing all my poop. Like, he is a man of a work that is not very much touched on in the community. You'll see, and if it is, I mean, you'll see a lot of people try to do horror comedy, but most of the time it isn't as done well as Graham is doing it here.
Yeah, like it just, it made me laugh. And like, also, while this is so ridiculous and absurd, this also made me think internally, yeah, average experience of late night fast food. Sometimes you just shit out your soul.
I think that's just the average experience of Taco Bell, unfortunately.
Yeah.
As good as it is, you just can't escape it.
Yeah, it's making a deal with the devil every time. Although, honestly, Taco Bell doesn't give me the shits that much. Probably TMI. I might edit that out. But, like...
No, I'll agree with you. It's been a long time since it's done that to me.
Like, it doesn't normally do that to me unless I'm specifically going to the American Taco Bell.
Oh, because I forgot
Canadian
you're
Taco
Canadian.
Bell, Canadian Taco Bell, like, for some reason, they took out the potion of shit yourself.
No, America, we leave that in. It gives extra flavor.
You know what? That is true. That is true.
I'm going to say a funny story from the state I was born in, Ohio. But it was early 90s, and a group of teens worked at Taco Bell. And after, like, they got done with their shift and everything, they took turns taking shits in the ground beef pot. And it sent like 20 people to the hospital.
Oh my god. That...
Like, how foul do you have to be to do that?
So this is for legal reasons, alleged in the 90s. I don't think anyone shits in the Taco Bell beef.
Not anymore, at least.
Yeah, not anymore. That was the 90s. Now weed's legal, so it's not cut up with a bunch of different shit.
Yeah, there are a lot more food laws now.
Yeah. All right, are we ready for this next very special author?
Yes, this is by VHS.
Yeah, VHS_sold_blank. So, we make no secret that most of the authors that we feature on here are people that we know, well, not personally, but like personally, but not in real life, if that makes sense. They are part of our online community. And that's just kind of the hazards of still having a relatively new subreddit. But VHS is very special because he's one of the first people that we've noticed. that we've gone, yes, he fits for the theme. And if you are a new person in the subreddit and you are wanting us to cover your work, we are on the mod team. Send us a message, because after next episode, I still need to figure out what we're doing.
Yeah.
So please, if you are wanting us to feature your story, please send us a message on Reddit, on Discord, however you're able to get me, because we'd love to get more authors into this fold and not just people we know personally.
I agree.
So this is the message from VHS_sold_blank. I wrote the story because no sleep pissed me off. My name is JP Clark. I have 2 books for sale on Amazon, Curse of the White Salamander and Shadow of the White Salamander. If you enjoy cosmic Mormon horror with lots of profanity, cigarettes, alcoholism, guns, and pro wrestling, you might get a kick out of it. Great job, JP Clark. So we won't name names for the sake of not getting into huge beef. But
Taco Bell beef?
No. But basically, so JP Clark says, I wrote this story because no sleep pissed me off. This subreddit was built because another horror subreddit pissed us off. We aren't going to say the name. Any mentions of it will get bleeped out. But yeah. So writing because something
it's the My Little Pony subreddit.
You know, yeah, sure, My Little Pony subreddit, whatever. Yeah, they just weren't appreciative of like stories like this. So I'm so excited to read JP Clark's. I was a moderator for the most popular horror subreddit. I looked over the empty cat bed that sat in front of the window. Across the street, I watched my cat, absent for the last 2 weeks, pirouette at the feet of the man feeding it. The ungrateful creature, raised from kittenhood, had escaped one day as I met a DoorDasher at the front door. Every night and day since, he'd spent on the neighbor's porch, fed by a stranger. No matter, it allows me time to create, time to assist the community of which I belong. My true passions, pish-posh to the flight and fancy of furry animals, ones with the brain capacity of a 2-year-old child. A red dot appeared, distracting me from my very deep thoughts on the nature of cats. A new story had dropped, and it would need moderation.
The ice machine is alive, and my dad gave me 5 rules to follow, but I can only read 4.
Strong title. I scratched my massive chin, bulging, blockish, as I read the story, completing the checklist as I went. It was fine. Not art, but in compliance. I flagged it on the back end as reviewed by moderator. Reading the story had been the little kick I needed, the little spark to fire the fires of creativity. Perhaps I should work on my magnus opus. 315k words and counting. A planned 80-volume epic blending genres of fantasy and horror, transcending a long enough timeline to actually transition to sci-fi, groundbreaking in storytelling in its scope. Okay, pausing right here. I want to read that. I want to read that video. I want to read at least a video essay on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, tell me the lore on something that goes so far that it goes from fantasy to sci-fi. I love that. I cracked my knuckles and began furiously typing the mechanical keys. To the writer, such as myself, their clanks are as the melody to the musician, the clanging anvil of a blacksmith, the beating of the brush of the painter. I read what I'd written, marveled at the genius of it, the intricacy of the nuance, the commanding language of the prompt. Ah! No! I hit enter. After a few short seconds, ChatGPT conjured these words.
I stood alone beneath the ghostly sky. M dash. No, not alone. M dash. I had my sword, and I had it myself. I was still 15 years old, even after 2.5 centuries of life, because I was immortal. In my hand was a giant sword, like Cloud's sword in Final Fantasy VII. The same one I've been carrying since I bested the demon Ganondorf. I don't know Final Fantasy VII, so I'm gonna have to say that's correct.
Yeah.
I am the greatest swordsman ever to live. Forever, M dash. But greatness is not triumph, it is exile. Somewhere out there, the werewolf, vampire daughter of Jeff and Jane the Killers, had not answered my cosmic text. It was not that she refused them, M dash. It was that she could never understand what is to be this powerful, M dash. In this alone, I brooded in my armored overcoat.
Oh my god! Oh my goodness. That's amazing. And so, like, we have a no AI rule in ours. And I love that even though it uses the M dashes, it's so, like, obvious that, like, no, this is clearly from a human mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Genius. A master of the art of the prompt. Curses! Somebody else posted to the sub. The title was short.
Stray cats, stray people.
Not a good start. Too simple, not much of a hook. But there's nothing in the rules about that. I began with the first sentence, and it was too long. That's kind of a strike. I got bored and scrolled, trying to find the bottom. My god, I kept scrolling. This had to be at least 3K words. I'm not reading all this. I hit copy text and pasted it into a new window with the prompt, summarize.
So, this story is doing a lot of things at once, with themes of King's Building, Dread, McCarthy's prose, and the body horror Koja, and the title is doing heavy lifting. It tells the story of Maya, recently evicted, who finds friendship with a neighborhood. Sorry, my eyes aren't working.
All good.
With a neighborhood hermit, who's not just a friend to stray cats, but a cat himself.
No, I'm not reading this. Too close to home. How dare they mock my current predicament? I switched back to the moderator window and hit the necessary series of buttons.
Your story has been removed because it doesn't fit the subreddit or it's broken more than one posting guideline. Do not attempt to repost this or you'll be banned.
Bah, good riddance. Not a list of rules to be found. I returned to my isekai.
as someone that has gotten that message from No Sleep multiple times after their story has been removed, it is the most frustrating thing ever.
Yeah, no, like if you're gonna take something down, tell us why.
Mm-hmm. And then when you ask why, they tell you not to ask again.
Yeah. Suddenly, I heard a voice outside. A man was standing on the sidewalk across the street from my house.
Stupid cats! Leave me alone! Do I smell like fish that bad?
A guy, one that I didn't know, some useless peon of wage slavery in suburbia. Ugh, this guy uses 4chan. Was surrounded by a dozen house cats, each with their backs arched, tails puffed. More cats emerged from the bushes of my neighbor's lawn. Yet more from a cat door, until it was like an agitated washing machine of cats jumped around him in their weird spidery cat ways. The man cursed several times, attempting to kick a one or two that danced towards him. Yowling shrieks reverberated through my dirty window, and the man covered his ears. The first cat launched itself onto his back, landing on his shoulder and sank his teeth into his neck. Another landed on his chest, claws piercing his shirt, anchoring its front paws as it furiously raked his stomach with its rear legs. Then another landed on him, and another, and another. A rolling blender of fur and claw. Screams at first, but then only the muffled tearing of skin and the impact of paws on bone. It was over fast. A shredded corpse, where there had once been a man, draped on the sidewalk like a torn trash bag. My neighbor opened the front door, and the cats parted to give him space to walk to the dead man, before resuming their grooming. He gingerly batted at the corpse, before dragging it to his front door by a bloody arm. As he shoved the dead man into his house, my neighbor looked up, directly at me, and slow blinked. Then closed the door.
911, what's your emergency? Yes, my name is John Smith. I live on 123 KFOB Street. Is that KFOB or KFAB?
Kayfabe?
Kayfabe. That's better. I live on 123 Kayfabe Street. I just saw a man get killed, and my neighbor drug him into his house.
I yelled. I heard the 911 operator tapping keys.
Sir, I'm going to warn you that doxing is not allowed or tolerated in any form. Do you want to try that again?
The 911 operator said.
What? I'm telling you where a crime happened. I just saw a man get killed by stray cats. My neighbor took the corpse. Are you trolling me? You know it's a crime to troll 911. I'm not trolling, I swear.
More tapping.
Are you injured? Did the cats attack you?
He said condescendingly.
No! I saw it! So nothing tangible or physical happened to you? And it really doesn't sound that scary? I'm going to remove this call from our records. And I'm also going to give you a 30-day ban from using 911. If you call 911 again, officers will ban you permanently. I don't understand.
I blubbered.
It's in the rules dictating proper use of 911. Please read the rules. The ban cannot be appealed.
Click dial tone. Big round of applause. Holy shit, this is amazing. Giving that an upvote. Oh my god. Oh my god.
No Street Madra, the police of my town.
Yeah. Yeah. The comments say, love this, love a good Reddit mod satire piece. Which JP said, thank you, no sleep really cheesed me off earlier. This is more fun and productive than arguing with them. Freezable Hell says, they love this so much. And Veristal says, often the best horror recalls that which is disturbingly familiar. God, I love that. Like, this is, I am going to, like, open my rib cage and, like, put this story into my chest and then close the rib cage back up.
Okay, I didn't know where that was going, and I was a little afraid. But that's better, I guess.
I love it. I love it so much. I might tape it to my wall.
I think I might cross post it onto No Sleep.
No. God, yeah, this is amazing. And it also reminds me of, like, Tumblr bullshit. Like, doxing is not allowed or tolerated in any form.
Gosh, this story was so good.
Yeah, officers will ban you permanently. Does that mean they're just gonna kill him? Like, I
think that just means that they're just gonna walk up and shoot you.
Yeah.
Sorry, you've been banned.
I wish I had more to say about, like, the nuance and everything, but, like, God. J.P. Clark, please, go buy his books. Check out all his work. Oh my god. This is amazing.
Killed it.
Like, listen, I'm not having any kids, but I'm giving you my firstborn. God, this is amazing. Wow. And, like, the horror itself is like, what the fuck even happened? And the description of the action is so good. Like, once again, showing that just because it's horror comedy doesn't mean that it has to be poorly written.
Right. I mean, you can't get much better than this.
Yeah, I was like, you could probably hear me giggling throughout. Like, once the werewolf vampire daughter of Jeff and Jane the Killers, I was done. I was done. I
I was
was just,
giggling until time I said M dash.
yeah, and also, as somebody who had their creepypasta phase in grade 7, I'm surprised that I didn't make up an OC that was the werewolf vampire daughter of Jeff and Jane the Killer. Because that sounds like an OC I would have made up. But yeah, she had not answered my cosmic text. That is just God. And the horror, like that no that I let out when the commanding language of the prompt came out, like that was genuine. That was visceral. Oh my God, JP Clark, I love you.
He killed it.
Holy shit. Okay.
Absolutely killed it.
Absolutely. Wow. I'm going to hit him up after this and go, bro, you are amazing. And now we finish by the Kyrie Files. The Tidy Bowl Man ate my ass. Now this one, whether or not it gets up on YouTube, we don't know. We'll see. If we get warnings on it, understandable. So Kyrie's message is remember to flush. God, okay.
Yes.
Are we ready for this?
I'm so excited to do commercial voice.
Okay. Blood from the fresh wound of what... Oh man, I had the idea to have a drink before doing this. I'm glad I didn't. I'm struggling enough sober. God. Blood from the fresh wound of what had previously been my ass pools around me, soaking into my once white t-shirt and what's left of my Cookie Monster pajamas. The sticky ichor had gotten onto my hands as well, and smears across the screen of my phone as I typed this out. The blood had caused the back and home keys to stop registering my clicks. But the rest of the screen seems to work well enough for me to warn the world of the monster that is the Tidy Bowl Man, which, by the way, let's look at the art. That's like the cover of it. I love it.
He looks friendly.
Yeah. Sharp teeth.
He looks like I'd share a Captain Morgan and Coke with.
Oh my God, yeah. My history with the Tidy Bowl Man. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
He would tell me about his long day of eating ass.
Yeah. My history with the Tidy Bowl Man began when I was 3, and I first learned to use the potty by myself. Before I was allowed to use any new toilets, Mama would go through the steps of something that, in hindsight, felt very out of place and oddly ritualistic for a mother to do in front of her toddler.
Well, I was lost, sorry. Tidy Bowl Man, the freshness of lemon and the power of borax. Tidy Bowl Man, Tidy Bowl Man, Tidy Bowl Man.
She would repeat over and over again, flushing the toilet after each utterance of the phrase, until at last she saw something in the bowl that appeased her. It usually took a few tries, and there were times when she was standing there, flushing the toilet ad nauseum for more than 30 minutes before being satisfied with what she saw. Each of those times, after the first 5 minutes or so, I could see a grim dread creep across her face. Another thing that Mama would always tell me, after every time that I asked to go potty, was to...
Make sure that you flush, or the Tidy Bowl Man will come out of the toilet and get ya.
I never knew what she meant by get me, but the sheer thought of a man coming from the toilet terrified 3-year-old me, and 4-year-old me, and every year after that, really, until around the time I stopped believing in Santa Claus. By that time, I thought I was old enough to know when I was being lied to, and mature enough to not forget to flush. I thought I knew fact from fiction. I was so very wrong on all accounts. Pausing here for a second, I don't know if this is just, me and, a lot of other women, but the idea, there is almost, occasionally there's just, what if something were to come up through the toilet and just bite me?
Okay, no, that happens with me too, and that's because I work on job sites. Like, my actual job is construction, so when I have to use when I have to use the porta potty, I am terrified something's gonna be in there.
Oh, and there's actually a chance of that, possibly.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
scary.
yeah. How many times I've opened the door up and there's been a wasp or something that is trapped in there and flies out.
Oh my god. At least it's not a snake.
Yeah, not yet.
I have heard of snakes coming up out of the drains, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad
Mostly in Australia.
Yeah, I'm so glad I live where the air hurts my face and the ice is constantly
Where the air hurts your face.
Yeah, I am way up north. It is still, yesterday was, I think, possibly the last snowstorm. But yeah, so the tidy bowl man won't eat my ass. That's why I live up north.
Kind of want the tidy bowl man to eat my ass.
I know. I can feel my body growing colder by the minute. The blood from my shredded gluteus maximus now coagulating into a slimy film. So I will now recount the events of yesterday and today, which led up to my current state. It began last night. I was drunk and had just finished reading an article about strange rituals online. The Midnight Game. Oh. I forgot those were quotes.
Oh, the Midnight Game. Hide and seek.
And the like. I was doing my nightly routine of showering and brushing my teeth when ruminating on the article I had just read brought forward in my mind's eye the memories I have mentioned thus far. Memories of Tidy Bowl Man and his proclivity for getting people who don't flush their toilets. I struggled hard at first to remember the words my mother used to say, beginning with the butchery of the phrase.
Freshness of orange and strength of boar. Tidy bowl man, tidy bowl man.
I flushed and gazed at the swirling water in the bowl, not really sure what to expect, but seeing nothing usual anyway. I was confused, yet oddly undeterred by the lack of something spectacular. This is worse than Bloody Mary, and he's willing to, I'm too scared to even do Bloody Mary.
Do you think the narrator here is the type of person to do the ritual and then immediately sit on the toilet in preparation?
I don't know. After a few moments of racking my brain and about a dozen more attempts, the memory of Mama standing in her neighbor's bathroom, frustrated that her plumbing had exploded due to a sudden unexpected freeze, flooded my mind. This was the last time I heard her utter these words. In fact, the last time I ever saw my mother as a free woman. Only days after that fateful evening, she was carried away by the police for allegedly murdering our neighbor, the events of which were never recounted to me, though she proclaimed her innocence up until her death in prison. Holy shit. The only thing I remember the police officer saying was this.
The whole thing was gone. That whole area was just a gaping hole. There was blood everywhere.
Me describing to the hospital when I was bleeding out. I sealed my nerves.
Tidy Bowl Man. The freshness of lemon and the power of borax. Tidy Bowl Man, Tidy Bowl Man, Tidy Bowl Man.
I said aloud, then flushed. The faintest streaks of blue swirled into the water, and my eyes widened. I felt the need to repeat the ritual, and I did so, 3 more times. The water growing a deeper and darker blue each time I did so. By the end, the water in my toilet bowl was the color of the ocean just beyond the white sands of a Jamaican beach, and the air in my bathroom suddenly smelled like the citrusy scent of fresh lemon. I wasn't sure if it was the alcohol, hysteria, or a combination of the two, but I felt a sudden urge to use my freshly blued toilet and gave in to the urge within moments. After finishing up, I wiped, threw the toilet paper into the bowl, and immediately rose from a porcelain throne, pulled up my Cookie Monster pajamas, made my way to the bed, eyes too tired and body too heavy to even bother throwing the covers over myself before sleep took me. My dreams are unusual, but not so unusual that they could not be explained away by the previous night of debauchery. I dreamed of my mama looking at me with a sad longing as she slowly shook her head. I dreamed of a tall, pale man wearing a sailor outfit, and I dreamed of floating in a Jamaican blue ocean, though instead of a boat, I was huddled into the bowl of a wooden toilet. The pale man in the sailor outfit circled me in a speedboat throughout the dream, flashing his too bright smile at me the entire time. He looked like a human, but he felt like a shark, circling a wounded seal, looking just for the right opportunity to strike. I awoke this morning in a cold sweat, with my tummy rumbling and my head swimming. I made for the bathroom, where the previous smell of citrus had been replaced with the smell of fetid sewer water, and the pristine blue of toilet water was replaced with dank brown puddle, ew, which seemed to bubble before I flushed it down. I gagged as a final bubble of noxious gas spewed up from the toilet, before finally turning and sitting. That was the biggest mistake of my life. Before my rear had made purchase on the cold, white-painted pressboard, I felt the teeth. An agonizing, searing heat that started at the edges of my buttocks and slowly, painfully pressed inwards. I felt skin give away, then muscle, and finally, I felt teeth drag bone as the entirety of my ass was bitten off in one fell chomp. I fell forward, gasping out in shock, and turning to see what horrendous creature had risen from the toilet to claim my booty as his own. Only to see that the same sailor man from my dreams, his too bright smile replaced with the bloody maw of a shark that had just feasted on fresh flesh. As he slowly sank into the toilet, he tipped his hat to me and said, in a chipper and cheery voice,
"It's safe on Blummin' too."
Round of applause. That is the end of the Tiny Bowl Man Ate My Ass. YouTube, we're sorry.
I think it was a fantastic read.
Yeah, that was amazing.
I don't think YouTube will have any problems with it.
Yeah, I love that. Like, God, this fills on like the primal fears, and like there's something to be said about generational trauma here. But it's about someone's ass getting nommed on because he forgot to flush. Also note, he forgot to wash his hands too.
Did he also forget to wipe?
Nope, he did remember to wipe.
He did remember the wipe.
So he wiped, but he didn't flush and didn't wash his hands.
Nasty, nasty person. I'd say it's deserved.
Yeah. God, oh my God. Yeah, this is amazing. Wow. Man, right now I'm signing on. It's like if this podcast goes until next April Fool's, I'm signing on for the next April Fool's episode.
Yeah.
God. Man, this is wonderful. I love it so much. And it also falls in line with the McDonald's promotion as if you call your mom anything other than mom, something weird's gonna happen to you. So at least for English speakers, only call your mom mom.
I call my mom mother.
Okay, that's fair. That shows, at least in my neck of the woods, you got beef, but
Oh, Wiener has the monkey man.
Sorry, what is that supposed to mean?
Oh, my long story short, but my sister gave we let my sister choose the middle name for our dog. My fiance and I's dog, and her middle name is Wiener. And
Oh, can you send me?
she has a yes, she has a toy. She has a toy gorilla that we call the Monkey Man that she chews on, and she'll just carry it around everywhere.
If you don't mind, please send a picture so I can put this on the podcast. Um, so after this week's debauchery, actually, hang on, everybody. Actually, no, I'll put it in editing. But after this week's debauchery, next week I will be joining you with somebody, either Salad or Man with Fat, and we will be joined by someone who is studying to be a professor in astrophysics and a published author to talk about cosmic horror. I don't know if they have like a pen name because we're neighbors.
Oh,
Yeah,
that will be exciting.
yeah, it'll be very exciting. I can't wait. But yes, hopefully, everybody had a wonderful April Fool's Day. And I can't wait for the next one. Thank you so much.
Me too.
Thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode of Anxiety Pilled. And have a lovely day.